Falcon Punch!
Hey gamers, and welcome to yet another collection video, the last in the collection of the Beginner Collector series. And on this one I'm gonna deal with all my Game Boy systems. Actually, I planned for this to happen quite a while ago. I had already recorded, but the audio was terrible and I knew it was gonna be a waste of my time and yours. So I found like an hour free time and decided, you know what, I am gonna go set up the table, like clean it off, and present my Game Boy games to you in a better fashion than I would have otherwise. So again, these are in alphabetical order as far as the box games are concerned. The cartridges are in no particular order. I took the liberty of sorting them out in like Game Boy Advance cartridges, Game Boy Color only, and original Game Boy / Game Boy Color cartridges, and also DS here at the back. So I think I'm gonna start off with these. By the way, just warning you, I have a lot of memories with the Game Boy systems, so a lot of sentimental stuff is gonna be said. I'm gonna go off tangents, yeah, just brace yourself for that. First off, we have Wario Land, Super Mario Land 3. This was Wario's first spin-off game. It was still under the Super Mario Land label, kind of, well, because it has it as a subtitle here, but Wario's game is a Wario game in its own right. I mean, this still has some Mario elements, like you get power-ups from hats instead of from hitting enemies like in the newer Wario Land games. But this was a really great game. I remember really enjoying this. But even more so, I had enjoyed Super Mario Land 2 6 Golden Coins, because I don't know, this game was just like the perfect Mario handheld game for the time. It was tons of great fun. I really enjoyed this. It's a great platformer. If you find this, you should totally pick it up. Oh, totally coincidentally, I have 3 Pokemon games in order here. Pokemon Yellow, Pokemon Red, and Pokemon Blue. So let me just bring them up here for you to see. So yeah, these were some of the few Game Boy cartridges that were actually colored. And you can see that the color scheme matches the cover Pokemon. This was before they started having legendaries on the cover. Here they use the starters. The final evolution of the starters, with the exception of Yellow, because you couldn't evolve Pikachu in Yellow. And see, brace yourself for sentimental stuff. Yellow was actually my first Pokemon game. I remember coming back, I remember finishing my first day of primary school and coming into my dad's car to find a Game Boy Advance with Super Mario Kart in it, Super Mario Kart Super Circuit, which I also have like here. I'm gonna talk about that later. And I remember I really wanted a Pokemon game because my first handheld experience ever was with my cousin's Game Boy Color and his then brand new copy of Pokemon Gold. And I still remember, this is how much of an impact Pokemon had on me, like seeing a handheld game for the first time ever had on me. I still remember at which point in the story he was. He was like just starting Chuck's gym, the fighting type leader. And you know that strength puzzle in the gym? He let me faff about a bit with that and fight one of the gym trainers, or try to fight a gym trainer. I was like, what, 4 or 5 at the time. He did most of the telling me what to do. But yeah, I thought it was amazing, and I wanted to experience that. And so I told my parents that I wanted a Pokemon game, and they bought me Yellow. And I had a blast, and afterwards I think I bought Red first, then Blue. I know it's like the same game, but I really loved the Pokemon series, and I still really do. Next we have Asteroids, and this black heart here denotes that it has features for the Game Boy Color, such as, but not limited to, Color. But I think Color is the only thing that this has. It's a port of the original arcade Asteroids for the Game Boy, and the black heart means that basically this plays on the original Game Boy, but like I said, it also has Color, because this is what they did. They didn't want to sort of break out all the new releases when the Game Boy Color came out, so they just released these black cartridges. Here we have the first Super Mario Land. This is kind of the bastard child of Mario series, because it's weird. It doesn't look or sound anything like Mario games should. But it's still a fun platformer. It still kind of feels like Mario, even though he's piloting a plane and a submarine and stuff, and his enemies are weird, and there's no Peach. In fact, this is Princess Daisy's big debut. But yeah, I still enjoyed this game as a kid. It's still a good platformer. And finally in this pile we have Pokemon Silver. This was my main game for the second generation, even though, as I said, Gold was my first Pokemon experience and I really like Gold. I preferred Sapphire because Lugia was awesome, okay? Pokemon 2000 was the best Pokemon movie in my opinion, and I don't know if it's still the best Pokemon movie. I don't watch the newer stuff, but from the stuff I remember nostalgically, Pokemon 2000 was the best movie. Because Lugia's... let me see if I remember the prophecy. I swear I have not looked this up like any time recently. I'm gonna work completely from memory. So...
Disturb not the harmony of fire, ice, or lightning, lest these titans wreak destruction upon the world in which they clash. And the guardian of the seas will rise to quell their fighting. Alone his song will fall, and thus the world shall turn to ash.
See, I remember this off by heart. This is how epic Lugia is. So it goes without saying that Pokemon Silver was amazing, and this is why it was my favorite Gen 2 game. Okay, moving on to the Game Boy Color exclusives. Here we have Dizzy's Candy Quest, which I think is actually a rare game. I've only ever seen this once on eBay. I couldn't find anything about it when I looked it up. I bought this as a kid. This is one of the few games in my collection that I have from my childhood, and it's an okay sort of puzzle game. You just have to walk on all the tiles in a level to defeat a boss, and you have a time limit, and you need to go across a level collecting candy for the normal levels, and it's weird, but it's pretty okay, I guess. Next we have Pokemon Crystal. This was the ultimate Gen 2 game because it incorporated elements from both Gold and Silver, and it added animated sprites, which was a first in Pokemon, and graphics were better, seeing as it was a color exclusive, and it added the Battle Tower, which remained an element even in the newer games. It was like the forerunner of Emerald's Battle Frontier. So yeah, Pokemon Crystal. Actually, flashback. I remember my grandma got me and my cousin this during one summer. She used to work in the company that imported games here from Greece's Nortec, which was the regional sort of authority on Nintendo games. And she used to get employee discounts, and she got me and my cousin Pokemon Crystal, and we both loved it. And yeah, flashback over. Same goes with Wario Land 3 actually. Actually, I didn't particularly like Wario Land 3. I loved the first Wario Land. I love Wario Land 4. Wario Land 3 not so much. Wario Land 2 I don't even have. But yeah, the graphics though are pretty good. I remember when I was playing this for the first time, my dad remarked how great the graphics looked for a handheld. And flashback again. When I was a kid, the main thing I used to get my parents to buy me games was some sort of comment on the graphics. Because I noticed that whenever I played, my dad always admired the graphics for a little bit. And being a cheeky little kid, I sort of picked up on that, and I used that as a main selling pitch. You know what? I think it actually benefited me to this day, because now I think that's what got me started at looking at games as more than just games, as sort of art pieces. It got me appreciating the story more, appreciating the graphics more. And I'm not saying that I'm a graphics snob. I mean, I love the old Game Boy games. I look at graphics, think about what the systems were like at the time, so I appreciate them in context. And yeah, so where was I? You know what, never mind. Wario Land 3, pretty okay game I guess, but I didn't particularly enjoy it. Super Mario Bros. Deluxe, a port of the first Super Mario game, Super Mario Bros. game. What other features are there for the Game Boy? There was some sort of music box feature and some sort of link cable connectivity, but it was nothing special. The biggest reason to play this is because it's a port of the first Super Mario Bros. And then this is a pretty horror game. It's Casper. I played this. I couldn't figure out what to do in it. The controls are pretty horrible. The graphics are horrible. Sound is horrible. It's just overall bad. Okay, moving on to Game Boy Advance, loose games. So this stack is gonna fall over any minute. Pokemon Leaf Green, not my version of choice for the Kanto remakes. I was a Fire Red person. I'm gonna talk about that more when I show you my boxed Fire Red. I actually got this from a classmate of mine. I played this a little bit because, again, it's Fire Red, and plus he had already beaten the game, so there was no reason in me replaying that. Donald Duck Advance was one of my first games for the system. It's a pretty decent platformer, but my biggest complaint for this has got to be the fact that it has no internal memory. You need to write down passwords to progress, and that's pretty annoying. But anyway. Shrek 2, horrid game, absolutely horrid. The final boss is basically a survival thing. Just jump to avoid Fairy Godmother's magic. Okay, so if the final boss is that bad, you can imagine how bad the rest of the game is. Pokemon Ruby. This is my go-to game for the third generation. I must have clocked like 250 hours on this. I loved the third generation, and I'm glad that there's going to be new Hoenn games, even though I don't like the fact that it's going to be remakes. I don't see the point, since you can transfer your third generation Pokemon up to the current generation. Still, you can send them to the DS games through Power Park, and 4th gen, then to 5th gen through the Poké Transfer, and then to 6th through Pokemon Bank. So I really don't see the point of Hoenn remakes. When they remade the Kanto games, they did that because when they made the shift from the color games to Advance, you couldn't trade your Pokemon forward through the games. But now, that's completely pointless. I was hoping that they were gonna go black to white to approach and give us a new story in an already established region, but they just sort of wasted their chance with that. But you know what, I'm still gonna get those games. I'm still looking very forward to the Hoenn remakes because Hoenn was amazing. This was a generation that introduced double battles, and in Emerald the Battle Frontier, and there was a big graphical overhaul. I thought it was great, and I loved the trumpets in the soundtrack, okay? A lot of people don't appreciate the trumpets, but the trumpets were awesome. What else is there to say about this? I don't think there's really much else to say. So I'm gonna move on to Pokemon Sapphire, which was my first game of the third generation. But I preferred Ruby because I preferred Groudon. And onto the game I sort of knocked over. Oh, Hot Wheels Velocity X. Not the best game, but it's a pretty fun racing game. I have the same complaint as I did for Donald Duck Advance, in that there's no internal memory. You have to write down and remember passwords. Super Mario World, Super Mario Advance 2. A port of Super Mario World, plus has that Super Mario Bros. Mini game where you like hit the underside of platforms to knock over turtles or whatever. I wasn't really into that too much, but the original Super Mario World was a pretty awesome game. The graphics are amazing, the music is great, and this is overall a great port. Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Duel Academy, a pretty okay game, but considering that this was released after Nightmare Troubadour on the DS, this was pretty much a disappointment. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, a pretty mediocre game on all platforms, and I think the Game Boy Advance version might be the worst. Super Mario Advance 4, Super Mario Bros. 3. This is considered to be the best Super Mario Bros. Game, and I actually haven't finished it. I haven't really played it much, to be frank. So yeah, I'm expecting to get some annoyed comments or messages about that. But you know what, I still appreciate that it's a great game. The fact that I haven't beaten it to completion yet does not mean that I did not enjoy it. Then we have Yu-Gi-Oh! Day of the Duelist and Yu-Gi-Oh! The Sacred Cards. I haven't played these. I talked about these a bit recently in a recent pickups video, which I'm gonna link like somewhere here. So you can check that out if you want to hear a few words about these, I guess. There's not really much to say anyway. And finally, The Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap, which is one of my favorite Zelda games. I mean, it's really short, granted, but it doesn't mean that it wasn't tons of fun. The graphics were great. Capcom did a great job with this second-party game. Overall, really great. If you find this in the wild, you should totally pick this up, especially if you're a Zelda fan. Okay, moving on to the box games. This one is something I'm rather proud of. It is a sealed copy, Nortex sealed, but still sealed, of Resident Evil Gaiden, or Gaiden, I think it's Gaiden. Funny story about this, I found it in a store, 44 euros. I wasn't gonna pick it up for 44, definitely not. But then I watched, I think it was Metal Jesus video, I think it was a pickups video by Heavy Metal Jesus, and he mentioned how expensive this was, and going around like $60 to $80 on eBay. And then I remembered, you know what, I saw this game for 44. So I went back, it still wasn't sold. Unfortunately, The World Ends With You, which I saw right next to it, was sold, but anyway. I haggled this down to 20 euros. 20 euros for a sealed copy in great condition. I'm really proud of this. I'm not going to play it ever, so I'm going to keep it sealed. Another game I found at a bargain. I got this for 16 euros and it is Pokemon Gold. And this is the only Game Boy Color Pokemon game that I actually completed, because I played this, what, like 3 years ago when I bought the boxed copy. Because when I was young, I basically treated Game Boy Color boxes like Christmas wrapping. I just ripped them open, and I'm really ashamed when I look back at that, because that really knocked the value out of my games. But you know what, the games are still great, and I can still get the boxed copies now, and in fact, that just left me with a spare copy of Pokemon Gold, which I traded in for €8 credit off my Pokemon Y game, which I used that to pre-order Pokemon Y. So I got Pokemon Y €8 cheaper than I normally would have. So see, I got some of my costs back from getting this. So it was essentially like I had paid €8 for this, which is great. And I talked about Pokemon Silver before, so I can skip talking more about Gold. Onto the advanced games. Here we have FIFA World Cup Germany 2006, still sealed. Not gonna open it. It's a football game for the, or soccer if you're in America, for the Game Boy Advance, and those aren't really special. Finding Nemo, again sealed. I'm told this is a really cool game. It's a platformer in the sense that Echo the Dolphin can be considered a platformer, and people say it's really good. It's developed by the now defunct THQ. But I don't see myself opening this. If I do play this, I'm gonna find a loose cartridge, because I don't like unsealing my sealed games, with some exceptions, of course. One such exception being Final Fight 1. Really great beat 'em up. I do enjoy beating 'em up big games, even though I hardly ever finish them, such as this one. I didn't finish this. I got pretty far, and then I lost, and I was like, sod this, I'm not gonna continue. But still, great game, great graphics. Okay, next up here we've got Kuru Kuru Kururin. Now this was a launch title for the Game Boy Advance, and I actually remember wanting to get this when it was new. It's kind of like a puzzle game, I guess. You control like some sort of duck bird thing in this stick helicopter thing. My description is not doing it justice, but it's very cute. It's actually fairly challenging, and I haven't managed to beat this yet. So basically I'm recommending it. If you find it in the wild, loose or complete in the box, pick it up. Actually, I quite like this simplistic sort of abstract artwork on the box. I think it's quite nice. Okay, this game, I remember I opened it up because this was the first time I was buying from this dude, and I wanted to make sure that his stuff was legit, so this was a sealed copy. I unsealed it, and I played it, and the game sucks, but on the bright side, it's real. Next we have Mario Kart Super Circuit. This was my first game on the Game Boy Advance. The box itself is not the box I had as a kid. I mentioned what I did to my boxes when I was a kid. I actually bought this off eBay, like gold, 16 bucks, and the cart inside is a cart I had as a kid. Now, I loved this so much when I was younger. I used to play all the time on my then brand new shiny Game Boy. And it's Mario Kart. How can you go wrong with 32-bit Mario Kart? It's awesome. It's tons of fun. Unlike No Rules Get Fat. Game's so horrible, not even the box says the name. So I have to like put this sort of note here with title so I can see what it is on my shelf. It's absolutely horrid. The graphics are horrible, the story is horrible, the gameplay is horrible, the sound is horrible. It's just, there is no redeeming value about this. This may be one of the worst games ever made. So you have Pokemon Pinball. Like I said, my grandma used to get me and my cousin stuff for the Game Boy, and one year she got us both a Game Boy Advance SP and Pokemon Pinball so we could play together. And me and my cousin both had a blast. There was no real two-player mode. You could like mix records to like compare Pokédexes and stuff, and sometimes that made certain Pokemon more likely to appear. But apart from that, it was no real two-player mode, but we both had fun playing this game and comparing our scores. And it's Pokemon, and it's pinball, and it works great together. Who would have thunk? So, yeah, like Mario Kart, this is not the box I had as a kid, but it is the cartridge I had as a kid. Now this next one is the box and game I had as a kid. It is Pokemon Fire Red version, and this is the first, this and Leaf Green were the first Pokemon games to include some sort of wireless functionality, and because the Game Boy Advance or SP didn't come with wireless, they included this adapter thing you see here in the corner, and it made things so much easier because you didn't have to bother with link cables, and I thought that was really great. So yeah, they remade the Kanto games during the third generation, because when they made the leap from the Game Boy games, the original Game Boy games to the Advance series, you can trade your Pokemon, and therefore a lot of the Pokemon from the first two generations were nowhere to be found. And that's where these remakes came in. And they actually didn't just remake them, they added a bunch of new stuff as well, like the Sevii Islands, which was like this post-game quest, which I thought was really cool. It was really well done, and I'm hoping that they're going to do something similar when they remake the Hoenn games. Like Tomb Raider Legends, I opened this because I wanted an example of a game bought by a new seller. I didn't know if this was legit, and this feels very light. Like, if you could feel it, it feels extremely light, like there's nothing in it. But thankfully there was, and it's a legit game, and it's actually a really good game. Rayman 10th Anniversary contains Rayman Advance, which is a port of the first Rayman game, and Rayman 3, which is a first Rayman game-like approach to Rayman 3, which on all other consoles is a 3D game, like Rayman 2 was. I haven't played Rayman 3, but I'm mostly through Rayman Advance. In fact, it's one of the games I'm playing at the moment, and it's tons of fun. It's actually pretty challenging. Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase. Same complaint as Donald Duck Advance and Hot Wheels Velocity X. No save feature, it's all about passwords, and it sucks. It is really, really, really bad. It's an awful platformer. I've heard the same about Shamu's Deep Sea Adventures, which is spinning off this SeaWorld attraction, I guess. I don't know anything about SeaWorld, but I've read that this game sucks, but it's sealed, and apparently the Game Boy Advance version is pretty rare. Like, I found the PS2 version, the Xbox version, and the DS version. on eBay, but I've never seen the Game Boy Advance version before. The only reason I know this is legit is because it says so on the Wikipedia page, and because I found an image on Google. I've never seen this anywhere else, so I'm leaving this sealed. I'm also leaving Ant Bully sealed. I don't know anything about this game, but judging from the screenshots at the back, it doesn't look particularly good. I mean, the graphics don't look like they're too bad, but I don't see the appeal, and I didn't like the movie as a kid either, so there's really no reason for me to crack this open and play. So that's that for this episode, and that is the last of the collection of a beginning collector series. I hope you've enjoyed it, and thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Cheers!